Yeah, okay, so moving on to the next issue. A few days ago, they announced that the court in Kuching, of all places, announced that the government has to implement the Undi18,
the voting.
Which is the 18 years old and above can vote
by
the end of the year. So what do you guys think? I have this question about this issue. A lot of people, like, there's a debate in Facebook, of course, Facebook, that 18-year-old Malaysians are too young to be given the maturity to vote, which I argue that even old people in Malaysia are not even that mature.
So old people anywhere, please. Old people anywhere.
What do you guys think? Do you think that the 18-year-olds and above should be able to vote? Because I argue that for them, okay, let's say if they think that 18-year-olds are not mature. Okay, some 18-year-olds are not mature, but this ability to vote will make them a bit more bertanggungjawab, like big. How do you say that, Kau? Bit more responsible.
Responsibility.
They'll give them more big hands to do what's needed. I mean, you're 18. I think you pay tax on your 18 when you have a job, and alongside a lot of adult responsibility. And the future is also theirs as much as it's ours.
Yeah, like they will still be here in like 40, 50 years. These old guys will not, most likely.
They'll die.
And,
Let me put it this way, right? Like, we have issues with letting 75-year-olds take the bus, public transport by themselves. We have no issues with letting 18-year-olds take public transport by themselves. But yet, the 75-year-olds are the ones running the fucking country, and 18-year-olds are not allowed to vote.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess it's because I personally believe that 18-year-olds should vote, but it's also because it's because of their parents' influence. Because, like it or not, parents also play a part on how they believe in politics. Like, for instance, I'm 21 and I have groups of friends who don't give a fuck about politics because they have parents who say, like, who continuously brainwash them, telling them, like, oh, you don't care about, you don't need to care, you just study hard and then get out of the country because this country got no hope. So, like, it's like, like, they no longer give a shit about anything. Like, okay, this is gonna be a bit more like TMI-ish, but, like, I have my ex's family, like, specifically my ex and his brother, they didn't give a shit about racial discrimination and systematic racism and politics because they have parents who don't encourage discussions like that. The parents shut that down, and because they grew up in, like, a fixed, SJKC, right? They have that mentality where, like, okay,
so
I've never hung out with Indians, I've never hung out with Malays. It's so be it. Let them have it.
Wow, just perpetuating that whole cycle of racism.
And that similarly on politics as well. Like, sorry if I'm, like, cutting anyone. But they don't even believe in politics. They don't even talk about it anymore. It's like they're like, oh, another minister, so be it. And I'm like, okay, why? Because, like, I decided to, like, share the link, the SPR link, saying that, okay, since we're all 21, let's all register to vote. And because these group of people are a year older than me, plus. And I'm like, when I asked them if they registered, they said no, they haven't because they don't really care. And I'm like, what? Dude, we could be voting any time from now. Why aren't you registering yourself? And they're like, because we don't care, the country's fucked.
I think to add on to your point, I did not vote only until the last election. Particularly because I'm not. I was out of the country.
Oh, okay.
Out of the country, and then at that point, it was brainwashed to the point where, like, Barisan Nasional is going to take it, and it was that era where Barisan Nasional could still take it, and I thought, I'm not going to vote. And my hometown was a stronghold. No one's going to win except you get brainwashed to that idea.
Where is your hometown, by the way?
Labuan. Labuan's now under Warisan because the UMNO guy jumped. So
actually, there's a really.
I would defend him because he I don't like the whole tapaking.
Can I continue?
Yes, sure. Sorry.
So, like, the thing is, like, if 21-year-olds, like, people that I know don't even know how to vote or, like, how to even think rationally. I mean, I have people in my college who are anti-vaxxer, for fuck's sake. So,
oh my god.
So, what about, like, how about these 18-year-olds, especially the newer ones who are, like, they can't even stand on their own 2 feet, because I I've experienced or I've dealt with like some of the newer diploma students, and they can't even write a decent email, or like like they want to ask about PPN, right? They don't have that common sense where like you're not supposed to text someone at 4 fucking a.m. about to ask about PPN. Yeah, so I guess like that's, I mean, like as much as I want people like 18-year-olds to be like independent and like be able to vote and like stand up for the country because we're adults, some of these people can't even like have the basic manners of like, don't fucking text the lecturer at 3 a.m. Hello, they're not your friends. Or don't text the fucking admin at 3 a.m. They have their own lives. Like
Maybe it's for the best that they don't want to vote.
Yeah, no, I mean, even when I was still like a part-time staff in my college, and like we had a new batch of diploma students, and I was like the first batch of diploma. Some of them even asked me at like 2 fucking a.m. I mean, like, yes, I'm awake because I'm playing Call of Duty, but it's my personal time. I don't want to deal with anything related to college at 2 fucking a.m. Right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
man.
Yeah. Just
Fair.
don't answer.
Yeah, and like right now, like what I'm seeing is a bunch of 18-year-olds who can't even use their common sense to like think. Like we have 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds who are standing up for themselves. They're exposing the shitty government. Like like for example, she's exposing the fact that like teachers make rape jokes and that. And like people, there are 18-year-olds that have are enlightened per se, and then we have the majority that like can't even use the fucking bus without asking their parents how to.
But that's the thing, right? But that's the thing, right? With humanity, we always have like the group of people who knows a little bit more,
Yeah.
has the passion to fight for the country, and then there's people who.
Nicholas, would you argue that this balance is required?
But how do you balance it? I don't think age is an issue. I think
balance as in we need smart people, but we also need dumb people.
I don't believe anyone's dumb.
Because
I think they're just
without
smart in
dumb
different
people,
ways.
there would be no smart people, kind of thing. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think they're dumb. I think they're
they
smart
just
in
refuse
different
to
ways.
learn.
No,
They
they're
don't-
smart in different ways. Let's say they refuse to learn,
Yeah.
they don't know the administrative work or whatever, but maybe they're artistic,
They could be technical.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some people there's smart people and there's people who don't even want to learn. The Dunning-Kruger effect where like they don't
Yeah.
What Kruger
know,
effect?
but then they talk a lot.
Dunning-Kruger.
I cannot.
We overestimate, especially if you're good at something, you underestimate your ability, and if you're bad at something, you overestimate your ability. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say to like anyone who's watching this who like, oh yeah, true, 18-year-olds shouldn't vote. Please, for fuck's sake, we have adults who can get bribed with 50 ringgit coupons. Oh yeah, vote me, and here's a 50 ringgit coupon. I remember back when I was young, I remember my parents talking shit about all my neighbors because, like there would be that one or two idiots that come, and they carry their secret flag that but during voting season, and they'll be like, yeah, do you want this, bantuan? Yeah, make sure you vote for us. If old people can also get bribed, what more young people, and especially when old people say like, oh, 18-year-olds, they don't have the maturity to vote. Like, excuse me, y'all taking bribes, what the hell?
Yeah, then there'll be somebody throwing women at Abol.
But one might call that as a win.
No, because I'm not sure if you know Nicholas, but I am the
Previous episode, yeah.
I am the
I haven't watched that,
Muda representative for Damansara. So let's say if Muda decides to run for Damansara right now, at the moment, okay, say we're gonna run Damansara, I am the candidate they're gonna put. So
If we know Muda fucks up, we can kind of blame it on you then.
yeah, so the thing is, I told them last episode that I cannot be bribed with money, but I can be bribed with women. So yeah, the jig is up. So anyways, I was about to say to you guys that the most of the opposition is not from 18-year-olds. The 18-year-olds have been very instrumental in getting this passed, because even though it was started, but it was lobbied by Syed Saddiq and people who started the Undi18 was not actually 18, but the people who actually move it, the people who went to the protest and everything, is all 18, because Muda was a big part of, like, we actually helped in some ways in this Undi18, right? So I do see from all this movement and all the people I've met with in Undi18, the 18-year-olds, they are very, very good leaders among them. But I'm not sure about the rest, you know. They're not interested. And when
especially
muda,
like Bobo, sorry, like you know, like when you say like you've seen like these 18-year-olds who have strengthened the movements of like Undi18, right? So like, you know, one thing that I would, you know, I learned when I was younger was that there's like three groups of people: the people that we know personally, the people that we know from like listening to other people, and the people that we don't know at all. So I'm concerned about the people that none of us know before, you know, that group of people. Like, do they have the maturity and the emotional capacity and the intelligence, you know?
But that's humanity. That's humanity. You can't you can't really know for sure. There are people who are brilliant in all sorts of things, but when it comes to you ask them politics, they're conservative as hell and for no good reasoning behind it.
yeah.
It's hard to say because we're so diverse. We're so many different levels.
Yeah, but by their standard, maybe their reason is good enough for them, you know.
Yeah.
By their standards.
But the thing is, I don't think I see anything bad about this being an issue, because let's say if they're 18, they vote and then they got bribed by
Women.
by PN or something.
A little bit too soon.
by PN or something, like they got hooked into like voting for PN. So if PN fucks up again, then they should know lah. I mean, that's how I do it. Like normally when Muda asks me to go in on like live or something when I'm talking about political education. So how do I speak to them to get them to vote? So normally I would do like a gaming event or like some event. I don't like to do like just a forum. I always like to go on a gaming event, and then I talk to the youngsters who are there, and then I tell them that, you know, that the people who are in charge, the people who you vote for, can determine what games you play, what games you don't play, and determine the internet connection, how good is the internet connection when you play games. So if you don't vote for the right person, then probably you get shitty internet, then you have yourself to blame. If you don't vote for the right person, then probably they ban out Genshin Impact and you cannot play anymore, then it's up to you, then that's your fault lah. You know, that's how I start doing it. That's how we start to do the political education. That's how I do it.
Hit them where it hurts. Hit them where it
good
hurts.
approach.
Yeah,
Hearts and minds.
Yeah, you don't speak about all these issues about economics and whatever. I don't think they will listen. But you speak on like they could ban the movies you like. They could ban the music you like, or you could ban the games you like. Yeah. They already banned the porn that we all like. They're already doing that.
The erotic novels that you like. They could ban Jasz totally.
What? No.
Yeah, Jasz. Yeah, you seem rather quiet about this. Do you have any opinion on the Undi18?
I think the 18-year-olds should be allowed to vote no matter what, no matter how stupid they are, no matter how smart they are, no matter how conservative or how liberal they are, whichever side they pick. They should all be allowed to vote.
Yeah, I mean, if you like democracy only when it swings your way, then you don't actually like democracy.
No.
You're no different from, well,
Then you're just a bully, you know?
Yeah.
No.
But saying that, I mean, I wouldn't mind if I was the dictator of this country.
Emphasis on the first syllable. Emphasis on the first syllable.
Oh, which is I am the dictator of this country. Okay.
How are people going to vote for you when you're talking like this?
I have no idea.
I'm his constituent, you know, you remember this, right?
Yeah, so Damansara people, I mean hello.
So take this video, viral the hell out of it.
Yeah, you know, in like 2 years' time when you're in office, right, all this is gonna come back up, you know.
Yeah,
But you
YB.
but
Yeah, in the parliament they go, YB dulu YB pernah kata dalam podcast, it's just a
Yeah.
podcast, man.